Hey kids, yeah, you are about to listen to a comedy podcast. That means that none of this is medical advice. If you need medical advice or medical care, please contact your doctor.
Previously on the Jock podcast.
It's kind of sad that this might be the last time I see him, you know?
Well, why is that? Are you leaving?
Well, I'm going to be taking a leave of absence.
Introducing your host, Dr. London Smith.
Hello, and welcome to the Jock podcast, where we discuss fitness and health and how to incorporate our modern understanding of science and medicine into our daily lives, but without it being so boring. I'm your host, drlondonsmith.com. I would like to begin by apologizing to our listeners. We've received some feedback about the excessive amount of technical medical terms that I've been using, such as functional asplenia and latte, so I will try to temper my terminology to a simpler one in the future. Here to help with that is our producer Cameron.
Hey, Dr. London, aren't you gonna say anything?
Yeah, so and I like for each of our episodes to be standalone, but on our last episode, Cameron told us about this journey he was about to go on because he realized he hadn't traveled recently or this year.
Last episode, I had decided that I hadn't traveled this year at all, which was super weird, and I just hated it. And so I was thinking, this podcast is just holding me down. I'm not even traveling anymore for no other reason than this podcast. And so I quit the job and I traveled around the world. And my plan was, instead of traveling by, like a hot air balloon or a boat or a plane, I was going to be the first person to travel the entire world in a boxcar racer. And so, of course, I took it up to the peak of Mount Everest. I rode the boxcar racer down the mountain, which gathered enough momentum to go around the world and faster than any cops could stop me.
So you actually
and that's what I did, Dr. London. I'm back.
Do you know why you were not supposed to be able to travel like that?
I feel like that is entirely irrelevant. I know that Americans are not allowed in a lot of places right now.
Nope. Because of the virus you could be spreading.
Well, I think the reason it's so easy to spread is because it's on planes. And since mine is in a boxcar racer, I believe that means it's COVID-proof.
Did you ever did you interact with people on your journey? Did you speak to them? Did you touch people at all?
Ew. Yes, I took lovers. Is that what you're asking? God. Anyway.
Well, that's not what I was asking.
Anyway.
It does answer the question.
I went on this amazing journey. I rode a boxcar racer down Mount Everest, and I didn't get hurt at all. And don't Google my name or anything. Just don't Google anything. And that is exactly what happened.
You didn't get hurt emotionally?
Nothing happened. I just did exactly what I set out to do. Don't Google it, and just don't look it up. Because I did exactly that. I went to Mount Everest, boxcar racer. Don't look it up.
Okay, that's our producer Cameron. So also with us is Digital in the house.
I went on this amazing journey. I rode a boxcar racer down Mount Everest, and I didn't get hurt at all. And don't Google my name or anything. Just don't Google anything. And that is exactly what happened. Don't Google it. Because I did exactly that. I went to Mount Everest, boxcar racer. Don't look it up. Don't Google it, and just don't look it up. Don't Google it. Don't Google it.
Don't Google it.
And just don't look it up.
And later, Cameron tells me we can expect a special guest. All
That's right, Dr. London. A guest so special that they won't Google my name and any of the countries and Mount Everest. They're not going to look that up and see anything other than my boxcar racer adventure.
Yes.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and Google it, Cameron. You
I-
keep insisting that I don't, but
No, I mean,
I'm
I don't know why
curious.
you would. I don't even think Google's on today. I think they usually take Mondays off. It's like Italian restaurants.
Cameron, do you associate yourself with the? Yeah. So, okay, Cameron, producer Cameron. Okay, wow. So you did get to Mount Everest.
I was there.
Yeah. So that's one of the headlines is Cameron man speaks to horse on Everest.
Yep, all of that is. Yep, absolutely.
Okay.
And then this is where maybe where the media, who is just trying to drum up a story, maybe their story differs a little from mine, I guess.
Okay, so it says you can't beat a dead horse, but you can carry it across the world.
Wow.
From reading it, it sounds like the horse that you used to take you to the top of Mount Everest to go down, get that incline and travel the world, it died during the process somewhere, and you kept it with you. I guess maybe for the extra weight?
I wrote it down.
What about the
I got into
boxcar?
Well, I don't know. I mean, it was kind of falling apart, and it had gotten really wet because of like the snow and stuff, which was like really cold.
Well, what about the dead horse? Surely that got cold after a while.
No, I got into the carcass of the dead horse, and I rode it down like a sled.
And that
has gotten me banned from most countries in the world.
Yeah, well, I'm just on the practical side of how that worked for transport is what I'm wondering, because that's not. Before you were talking wheels, and it already sounded. It didn't sound feasible to travel by boxcar around the world because of just no engine.
No, the horse didn't make it around the world, London. It just made it down the mountain.
Okay.
And then I got banned from every other mountain that exists. I'm not allowed on mountains anymore.
Oh, so you didn't make this journey. You made it to the bottom of a mountain via dead horse.
Yeah. I mean, I made it to the top of Mount Everest. I feel like that's an accomplishment. Anyway, I'm back. All I'm trying to say is I'm back on the podcast. Rejoice, fans of the show. Even though I left, I have returned.
Yeah, and so, yeah, we should leave it on that note that you climbed Mount Everest. That is a huge feat. Most people don't do it.
Thank you.
I sure haven't. Okay, but a dead horse. Okay, but anyway, before we move on, I should address a bit of listener feedback. I found this message printed word by word on every article of clothing after doing my laundry at the local laundromat. The note reads, quote, "I'm renting a room for one female. No animals, no boyfriends, no smoking, no drinking, no drugs, no movies, in California at $900, no bathroom, no kitchen, no closet." End quote. So first of all, to this listener, thank you here for reaching out to us here at the Jock podcast. So to this listener, you may want to reconsider your place of residence if it has no bathroom, especially if it's costing you $900, per month.
Dr. London, I not to disagree with you here, but I actually recently spent some time in a certain place that didn't have a bathroom or a closet or all the things you typically think of when you're inside a place.
And you're referring to the dead horse. Yeah,
I mean, it was the horse carcass I was riding down the mountain, yeah.
Yeah.
But that, that didn't have all of the like frilly, like 2020 millennial technology, like, oh, I need a Keurig with, do you have donut shops, sir? That's the only Keurig I can drink.
Yeah, but it's... So you're comparing the inside
Shut up.
of the carcass of a horse to...
That wasn't to you. That was to the
this-
guy. Yeah, the person demanding that they have a Keurig
Okay.
donut shop.
Yeah, the hypothetical. Okay, so anyway, in my opinion, you don't really want to compare your place of residence in general to living inside of a horse carcass in terms of, if you're paying rent. Some in survival situations, these kind of things may happen. But I also understand that finding a place to live on a budget can be terribly difficult. And so we do all have to work within our means. And so maybe $900 for...
I'll rent the carcass for $750, utilities included.
Does it have utilities?
Included.
So like electricity, plumbing?
I mean, the utilities are included, so I would imagine it would have to have all that. Otherwise, I couldn't say that, right?
Okay. All right, well, anyway, to this listener, thank you for listening. Now for today's medical topic, sarcoidosis. Sarcoidosis is a chronic systemic granulomatous disease characterized by non-caseating granulomas. And this often involves multiple organ systems. So granulomas are an organized collection of macrophages. And macrophages are, of course, a part of your body's immune system. So it's sort of, a granuloma is like a small ball of inflammation, cornering whatever pathogen they are targeting. In sarcoidosis, lungs are almost always involved. Sarcoidosis occurs most commonly in the African American population, especially women. And 75% of cases occur when the individual is under 40 years of age. So this is a relatively young patient, often of African American descent. Clinically,
And, when I go to the doctor and I tell him about the small ball of, the small inflamed ball inside of me, he tells me that's a bad thing.
yeah, well, I don't know if you have sarcoidosis, but yeah, it's not I wouldn't call it a good thing.
It's not. I don't know what that is. It's from spraying like Axe deodorant down my throat and then lighting a match, and it kind of goes whoosh. But sometimes if I've eaten something, like a ball like that'll catch on fire too, and the doctor says, to stop doing that.
Yeah, what ball thing are you? When I say inflammation,
Jawbreaker hole.
Okay, when I say inflammation,
It's called Jawbreaker. No, not if I swallow it whole. Yeah, I beat Jawbreakers.
so whenever I
won.
talk about inflammation, that's like, I guess an easy example is like a mosquito bite, how it's raised and red and warm. So that's an example of what inflammation looks like. So I'm not talking about a literal fire. So if you were spraying Axe body spray on a Jawbreaker, lighting it on fire, and throwing it down your throat,
Yeah.
that's different from what I'm referring to in this.
Oh,
in this
okay,
medical
okay.
lesson.
Sorry, sometimes with all the like jargon and stuff, I can't keep track. I thought, okay, yeah, go ahead. Don't let me interrupt again.
Okay, so clinically, patients can present with constitutional symptoms like malaise, fever, anorexia, and weight loss. In the lungs, patients may have dry cough or shortness of breath, especially with exercise. In 25% of cases, patients may have rashes or plaques, but especially one type. Oh no, you aren't. Yeah. Why did you swallow that now? Yeah, why now? Okay. So I'm just Cameron, I'm just going to In 25% of cases, patients may have rashes or plaques, but especially one type called erythema nodosum. Patients may also have eye problems like anterior posterior uveitis, which may result in some significant visual impairment. In 5% of cases, the heart may be affected, causing arrhythmias and conduction disturbances, such as heart block and sudden death. In the musculoskeletal system, patients may have body and joint aches and...
Get another jawbreaker, I could push this one down.
I'm not going to let you swallow another jawbreaker hoping to push it down, because these are going to end up in your stomach at best.
Oh my God.
And at worst, and I think more likely, you'll just have 2 jawbreakers stuck in your throat. Do you see why that's not good? Yeah, so... in the musculoskeletal system, patients may have body and joint aches and bone lesions. In the nervous system, some cases include cranial nerve 7 involvement, leading to Bell's palsy or optic nerve dysfunction, papilledema, or peripheral neuropathy. Diagnosis is based on a combination of clinical, radiographic, and histological findings. On chest x-ray, the hallmark of sarcoidosis is bilateral hilar adenopathy, but that is not specific, only seen in about half of cases. Angiotensin converting enzyme, or ACE, is elevated in the serum in about 50 to 80% of patients. Patients can also have hypercalciuria and hypercalcemia. That means increased calcium in the blood and urine. Definitive diagnosis requires...
kidney stones, right?
What?
I can cause kidney stones, right?
Yeah, it can cause kidney stones. That's increased calcium in the urine can do that. But I think some of these other symptoms that I mentioned might be more noticeable. So on biopsy, non-casing granulomas can be seen, but this once again must be coupled with clinical findings to make the diagnosis. Pulmonary function tests are also used, and they'll show decreased lung volumes and decreased FEV1 over FVC ratio. In terms of treatment, most cases of sarcoidosis fortunately resolve or significantly improve spontaneously in 2 years and do not require treatment. So Cameron, if you had sarcoidosis, fortunately, the likelihood is that it would at least improve within a couple of years. But it sounds like this is just a jawbreaker.
Yeah, it usually doesn't take a couple of years.
In the other cases, systemic corticosteroids are the treatment of choice for very symptomatic ones. Methotrexate is also used in patients with progressive disease that is refractory to corticosteroids. Now, Cameron, I would say you should not be taking those medications that I just said. I think you should just stop swallowing jawbreakers, and especially do not light anything on fire before putting it in your mouth.
I got a kind of copper eyes.
I heard something about copper eyes. Compromise. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't think this is something to compromise on, Cameron. Like, maybe just lick the jawbreaker. Have you tried that?
Then Laura would be winning. I gotta just shut it down. Here, just leave your finger. Just use your finger.
No.
Shut it down. Just shut it down.
No. Okay. Ugh.
And so I think now I should be good for all the, I won't get all the stuff you said, right?
Yeah, so in the future, with jawbreakers, they can't break your jaw if they never enter your jaw. Have you ever thought of that?
Well, then where would they go?
Well, if you lick them, you bypass the...
Ew. Oh, what is with you today?
Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, it might sound strange first with the people you met and touched on your journey.
Just stop.
Okay. Yeah, we can move on from there. All right, Cameron, you said that we have a guest today. Is that right?
That is right, Dr. London. A guest I'm very, very excited about.
All right, hello there.
Hey, thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
Hi,
sure,
thank you.
sure
Yeah,
thing.
thank you for.
Name's Dr. Mark Budro. I don't know how the radio thing works here, so I'm just going to go for it. There it is. Dr. Mark Budro, I'm here.
Mark, I
There you go.
appreciate. I mean, Dr. Budro, as I should say. What brings you to the show?
I'm here to talk about my my new book. It's called Ha Ha Health: How Laughter is the Cure for Everything, and Other Observations. So
Okay. Other observations. So this is like sort of an observation-based study you conducted?
yeah, well, the beginning of the book is my personal development story. I was a doctor of some good acclaim. I did okay over here. I practiced medicine in southeastern Michigan.
What does that mean? Besides,
I've been
like to have some acclaim, or do doctors receive like trophies and stuff?
Well, doctors, where you go to a hospital and it's like, oh, don't go to that guy. Ugh. But then they'll be like, go to.
Okay,
he's
so it's
the
more
best.
word of mouth. There's not
That-
like a doctor award ceremony called like the Dockies or something. That's like the ESPYs, which
No,
is the
no,
only
no,
award
no.
ceremony I know.
I wish. Oh, I wish.
Oh, you'd be
I-
sweeping up there, huh?
Give me a docky. Give me a docky. That's all I want. Give me a docky. Give me a docky. That's all I want.
Well, some people who know about it might be made aware of it and invited to the Dockies, but
You're saying you want to be invited to the Dockies too, Dr. London?
well, I may not have gotten an award, but no, a few of us have been to the Dockies, and it's a big deal. But no, I want to hear more about Dr. Mark Budro's
I want to hear more about this book.
his acclaim.
Well,
Oh, his acclaim.
Well, so the beginning of the book, the observations are my observations as a doctor before my accident. You see, I have had a pretty severe brain trauma happen to me that took me off of the front lines and put me behind the scenes in testing.
Oh,
So
I'm sorry to hear that.
I have what is Yeah, that's okay. It's okay. I have what is referred to as pseudobulbar effect, which is also called PBA. You may have heard it in the text. It's pretty rare, but it is I cannot control fits of laughter or crying. So you can just imagine that I did not want to be at the bedside giving bad news and then cracking up. That would
Yeah, that
could
that
not
wouldn't
do
quite
that. So-
work.
yeah, I mean, especially if they came
No,
in with something, funny.
right.
I mean,
Exactly.
You're telling me
I'm
a
done.
guy comes in there and he slipped on a banana peel and he came in because he smashed his face into a pie. You're telling me you're not going to laugh at that? Are you kidding me? Oh my! I mean, just the thought.
Ah, boy.
Oh my!
So you can imagine I can't be at the bedside thinking about pies because it's all over for me. And then, so it took me to research, and those are the observations: is how one doctor could take a look at himself and be so self-aware that he knew that he had to figure out, is laughter the best
Wow.
medicine, and how could you scientifically prove this? And I think this book really emphatically answers the question.
Okay, so I guess what have been your findings? What have you seen as the answer to that question?
It's a mixed bag.
Okay,
Oh boy!
I guess. And sorry, is it okay if we laugh with you, or is that
Please,
help
it
you?
makes me
Okay.
feel more comfortable.
Okay, 'cause
but
we'll-
it's a bit of a mixed
So
bag.
you published the book when the findings were just a mixed bag. You were like, this book is ready,
Yeah.
not like let's do more research.
No, we went. I had a very aggressive time to finish
wow.
this book. Yeah, it's published through Amazon, and they are
Yeah,
mean
huge
if you aren't
sticklers about
ready.
deadlines when you're publishing.
Yeah, they want that book.
Well, if you order it on
so-
Prime, then it has to be there by Monday.
Right, it has to be there by Monday, so that is, I pulled all the punches. No punches
okay.
pulled,
Can I-
actually.
can
No
I- can
punches.
I take a step back here?
pulled.
So, if we're including Prime shipping into this, are you saying that you listed the book before you had written it, and then basically gave yourself 2 days to write it so it can ship in time?
Correct.
That's genius.
Well, I did not want to write a book that nobody wanted. So I wrote, when I put it on there, I was surprised at how many people pre-ordered it. So I had to get writing.
Wow.
Like right away.
Oh,
I
would like to hear about these findings. I mean, Dr. London, are you interested in this? Is this something, or are you too skeptical? You and your I only care about the pills and the shots and the medicine and the 5G or whatever.
Yes. No, the laughter, positive outlook, all these things can be uplifting. That's why, on rare occasion, we even sometimes have a little bit of levity on this podcast. Sometimes I'll make a small joke and
When? Name it. Name a time.
yeah, I'm trying to think of one.
Just
now.
a single time you haven't had a stick so far up one way that it's coming out another way. Tell me.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to. Well, now that I'm on the spot, I'm trying to think like knock knock. Did I tell a knock knock joke? Did I?
I mean, for my sake, you don't have to you don't have to hash this out here. I mean, doctors we're funny people. Period. We're a hoot. We're a holler. You have to be as crazy as we are. We're just
You
nuts.
sound like a hoot for sure. I'm loving your whole thing right now, and you're bringing a good vibe, and I like how you're laughing at everything, which makes me feel good, which then also makes me feel hotter, which is nice. But Dr. London over here, he does not have a funny bone in his body. I don't know if he has bones in his body, because that's the only way he looks. That's the only way that would explain why he looks the way he looks, is if he was just sort of a sack of organs.
Yeah, my nickname in middle school was Organ Sack. But I'm sorry, what were you saying, Doctor?
So I mean, I don't know if not having skeletal systems inside of your body is good. It seems like that would be bad, but that would be a test that you could read about in my book, where
that's in there?
Luckily, I wrote it in 2 days, but it's from a lifetime of research.
So the being without a skeleton part, that is in the book?
I do a big part of encephalopods, and I just want to see, can I make an octopus laugh by playing him Lenny Bruce?
I would,
and then hopefully making him.
I'd love to hear an excerpt from this book. I mean, Dr. London, are you interested in this?
Yeah. If you could just read a passage for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll read. This is. I'll leave. I think I've already blown the encephalopod thing, but I have another chapter called "Will the Leg Grow?" So here we go. Time Marsden didn't have a leg. Ah, what a bummer. Aww. But luckily, he came into my lab with a dream and a case of the giggles. The experiment was set up thusly. He would sit in the chair, I would play him the Great Muppet Caper, and we would see what happens. He found the movie enjoyable, but did not laugh once. I knew that I had to pull out the trump card, meaning old school.
Whoa.
Well, once he got to You're My Boy Blue, the giggles were just flowing. But you know what wasn't flowing? New leg. Laughter does not cure loss of limb.
Wow.
So this book is filled with anecdotes.
That's
like
a huge finding. I mean, my God, I feel like the medical community would be reeling with this information.
Okay, so
You're telling me that not a single scene in Old School made this guy's leg grow back?
Not a one. And he was really laughing. And with every laugh, I would be like, think about your leg. Think about your leg, please. And then, like, that would bring him back down. So then I would, like, have to rewind the part with You're My Boy Blue. And that would make him laugh again. And I'd be like, the leg, the leg.
Wow.
Yeah,
And that just...
Nothing.
I mean, this is an amazing scientific finding, Doctor. This is incredible.
I can't help but think, so whenever a patient falls ill, you chose, rather than to treat them, you chose to just give them something funny to watch, something that you think is funny to watch. Is that right?
I mean, I guess you could say that. Yeah, that's well. Let me rewind. Because again, I am not at the bedside. This is not at the bedside. I am a research scientist now, a doctor, research scientist. So they're coming to me. This is not me going, hey, I've got the cure for you. It's, hey, looking for people that want to cure stuff, and you give you some good.
It really, it sounds more like it's like, hey, do you want to watch Old School with me?
Yes.
I mean, it's a great movie.
Yeah, there's no
so
denying
fun.
it's a great movie. I'm not. There's no judgment in that at all. But that's essentially what you're asking people is like, hey, do you want to watch Old School later?
Right. Well, but the underlying scientific thing that we were trying to see is, could the laughter cure major ailments? And for the most part, it is hit and miss. It is.
Wow.
Very
I would love
miss.
to hear. I mean,
Very,
is there a hit example that you have where it's just
I'm
like,
sorry.
wait,
I want to clarify something first. So,
Uh-huh.
for a given clinical study, you're trying to, focus in on, like, say you have this treatment, laughter, and you're trying to find out, does this specific treatment cure? And then you would try it against a placebo or a control. And so, in this case, did you have patients who were, were these patients treated medically at the same time, or were they only given laughter?
You see, if I didn't have a brain injury, I would have thought of that. I guarantee that. Now I remember control group.
Yes.
Oh, so it's the injury did not just cause this uncontrollable laughing and crying. It just kind of made you stupid, right?
Whoa! Hey, I still have feelings.
Oh yeah, no, okay. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what's there or not.
Oh boy. No, there's enough. There's enough. They can't take away a doctorate if you're not practicing real medicine. So.
Except it sounds a little bit like you still are trying to replace medicine in a sense.
I am a clinical technician trying to solve problems through watching old school.
Yeah, which is admirable. I mean, he's doing more for the world than you are, Dr. London. He's actually pushing new research to the forefront.
We have figured out that it does not cure major renal failure. 100% ineffective against renal failure. It is terrible for burns.
I really want to ask, like, the control group, I guess, the situation with renal failure. Was it Old School again, or did you play something else for him?
Well, I always save Old School for second. I'll start with something
lighter,
topical, like Lenny Bruce.
Yeah,
something like Lenny Bruce,
loosen him up with some Lenny Bruce, and then I might play the Muppets, and then when I can, if I see that that's not really what they're looking for, boom, right to Old School.
Any Muppet movie, or is it
Always Muppet Caper, the funniest of them all.
So, okay, well, so I I was one of those people who ordered this book, right off the bat. It sounded fascinating to me. Would you mind if I read a little excerpt from it, from a chapter that I found to be, fairly interesting?
Yeah. Oh, please. Yeah. I mean, anything that gets people interested.
Yeah. So this comes from the chapter entitled Good Samaritan Law. All right. So as we know, by Good Samaritan law, you can be the first person on site at an accident and intervene medically and not be held legally responsible. So, with that in mind, I began my experiment. Patient was bleeding out. I brought my portable DVD player.
Yeah, keep going.
I set it up.
This is the best.
I made sure the headphones were properly in place.
Okay, that's important.
And this guy is crying.
The man shouts for his wife. I shush him.
Give him a good shh. You get him like, you're going to love
And I
this.
point to the screen on my portable DVD player.
Yep. Just check this out.
And he continues to bleed. And I take notes. And eventually, the ambulance arrives there. I pack up my portable DVD player and I run.
Correct.
Okay, so that's the end of just that
Well,
passage.
And actually, I mean, Dr. Lennon, if you look on the other side of that page are the notes he was taking down, and they're notes about the movie.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, you've clearly
Absolutely.
seen both. I mean, this Lenny Bruce DVD, The Muppet Caper, and Old School probably hundreds of times at this point. But you gotta.
I am a fan
I
of
get it.
comedy.
I get. I love it. I
it.
love this attitude. Bringing it to such a stuffy
And let me tell you,
environment.
I cut you off, Dr. London, before you could read the final part where, and we conclusively prove that laughter does not cure hemorrhaging.
Yeah, that was the main.
That was a successful application of the scientific method.
Isn't this
over
the
here. So,
scientific
I mean,
method? This is incredible.
well-
Dr. Lennon, actually, real quick, I do have a question. You clearly are a huge fan of Old School, who was
Love it.
best. Who was directed by Todd Phillips, who also directed a movie recently, last year, Joker, that is about the same sort of disease that you have. Is that movie? Did that movie speak to you in any kind of way?
I'm not a real drama fan,
That would make sense. I don't even know why I asked.
so I have to be honest. I have to tell you, I haven't seen it, but oh boy, it sounds like a good one. I mean, if Todd Phillips made that, I mean, he made those Hangover movies, which, I mean, eventually, when my DVD breaks, I will have to buy another movie. I'm sure Old School sold out everywhere. I won't be able to find another version of it, so I'll just have to go move on to Hangover.
Probably
and then we'll see
just
where that
two.
takes us.
You're not going to be able to find one anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, it's so OOP. It's crazy.
So I had another, and this is a minor question. So in that passage you talked about the portable DVD player. Do you know about phones and how you can stream, movies and shows on your phone?
I had a head injury.
Okay.
Yeah,
so that's
Dr.
still-
London, what are you doing?
So I can't hold devices with signals close to my head
Okay.
or in my pocket because it's bad for me. I don't know. That's what my doctor says, and he won a docky.
Dr.
So,
Budro, you have Better Call Saul's brother disease.
Yes.
You know Better Call Saul's brother? He couldn't touch cell phones or whatever. You have that disease?
Cameron, that's a drama.
You ever watch Mr. Show?
I have not seen it. I know Mr. Show. I love
So
that.
his buddy, who
Mr. Show's buddy.
Mr. Show's buddy.
yeah, I guess. Yeah, he can't touch the cell phones. That's all. I didn't mean to stop everything in its tracks like this.
Okay. And I guess, so it's a Polaroid that you were using to take all the pictures, because there are a lot of selfies of you with patients on the side of the road, like all throughout this book. It's very heavily illustrated with just patients covered in blood.
Right. Yeah.
And
Uh-huh.
so that was, I guess that does answer my question. So it was with Polaroid camera, the old-fashioned?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I knew when the typesetter got those pictures, they were going to be like, whoo. But, we did what we did, and I'm glad we did it, and the book is a triumph.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like you've really brought something new to the medical community, which is a famously close-minded community. If they don't read it from a Harvard experiment, then they're not going to believe it. But here goes to show that
I'm just here to break down walls and break down the brick around your heart, and maybe let a little bit of laughter in. But once again, I do need to let you know that laughter does not cure heart attack. So don't treat it for that. It's good for. I found it. We've been talking about the negative here. There's a laundry list of things it's not good for. Cancer treatment is terrible. It's not really good for any body or foot odor. But it's good for retraction.
Retraction?
Attraction, my
attraction.
friend. The fairer sex, if you know what I'm talking about.
Okay. I guess you'd have to be more specific.
Yeah,
You pop an old school.
An elf?
The giggles start. Next thing you know, it's Makeout City.
Was this this was an experiment?
I've never been there.
Yeah.
This is.
I'm not sure I'm aware.
Wait. Is there a chapter on the book about this?
Yes. Makeout
I would
City.
love to hear part of this chapter.
Sure, here we go. Just a minute up. Makeout City. Tommy and Donna were love on the rocks until they came and saw me. I told them that the experiment would be easy. Sit in this love seat, wink, wink, and I will put in one of my patented comedy DVDs. They began with Lenny Bruce. Neither seemed interested or amused. They started talking to each other. I could tell the magic was already starting. Up next, the Great Muppet Caper. How long do we have to be here? Said Donna. You leave when I say so, said me. Up next, old school. The coup de grace. 10 minutes into the movie, they start kissing.
Wow.
Because they seem to be so bored of the laughter, they had to take a break.
Well, this is the third movie in a row that you had them watch?
Yes, this was 5 hours into the experiment.
It sounds like almost every single chapter of this book is describing a different way to show these exact 3 movies. There's maybe one sentence about the other subject, which might be like,
in 2 days, I have a brain injury. Give me a break.
No, I totally understand that, but it's even, you're talking about hemorrhaging. You have a chapter on hemorrhaging, but 99% of it is just describing, putting the DVD in and watching it.
Yeah.
And then maybe a sentence. It's it doesn't work with hemorrhaging. But
yeah,
that's every single chapter.
Yeah, give or take.
Well, I mean, this sounds like a must buy.
I think go and get it, please. I am starving.
I mean, yeah, Dr. London, can we put our official Jock Doc podcast stamp of approval on this book?
Yes.
We've actually never given this out because no book has ever been worthy.
Well, one thing I do like is the honesty.
Well, yeah, okay, sorry. You put it on the Quran, which I thought was weird, but I don't even want to get into that. I'm not even touching
Yeah, we
that.
try to stay, apolitical, no religion stuff. We just try to, focus on the medicine here. But,
And yeah, I couldn't tell if it was disrespectful or respectful to slap a giant sticker of Jock Doc Podcast approved on top of the Quran. I don't know, and I don't want to know. Let's not touch it.
right, yeah, let's not. Okay, so, for this one, the pros. Let's go over the pros to, why I would like this book. It's honest. Sometimes, like, even the Makeout City chapter was very specific in details of where, because this was on location. He went to a place called Makeout City, and there's a whole section on describing that. And the other thing that I think might actually be compromising and working against it is he puts a lot of personal information about each patient in the chapters.
Yeah, I did want to ask about that. Did putting down where they're going to be, like a GPS, a sort of, it looks, I mean, it's just on the paper. There's like GPS coordinates that are constantly changing. I assume you attach something to them. Was that, what purpose does that serve, Dr. Budro?
Well, number one, I needed to prove that it all happened not exactly in the United States.
Oh, okay.
But close.
You're saying the laws were more loose?
Right. We needed to make sure that everybody knew that this was in a space that one could call free.
Okay. It's still, so to me, I guess I should clarify.
Let me rephrase. I think I've complicated the air. What I do is, anytime that I'm a good Samaritan, I know I'm free and clear because I believe laughter's the best medicine. So I give them the only medicine I have, which is the gift of laughter. I may never call 911, but I don't think that's on me. I mean, other people can see what's happening. So, even though I am always wearing scrubs and my lab coat, they, people sometimes will go like, oh, he's got it under control. And then I'm like, oh, pay dirt. I'm going to get to old school with this one. And most of those people who've injured themselves, they do not make it to old school, which is the great tragedy of this book.
Yeah, and it also sounds like the spectators who are thinking he's got it under control, none of them question why after maybe 4 hours of watching DVDs.
Yeah.
No one questions,
think, right?
what's going on.
Nobody. You ever? Okay, I've seen a drama. You ever see Catch Me If You Can?
Yeah.
Is that a drama?
I mean, it's a goof.
Yeah,
but it's fun. But it's dramatic.
It's a dramatic romp, I would say.
Christopher Walken says, catch him watching the Pinstripes, and that's what Scrubs in a lab coat does. They see that and they get caught up in it. They're like, oh, he knows what he's doing, and then I have to, tell him,
Well, yeah.
Did you try telling any of your patients that weren't laughing? Did you try telling them the Christopher Walken story about the mice in a bucket of cream joke? Because that is funny.
That's so
funny.
Good. I mean, that little mouse works so hard.
Yeah.
Cream.
Oh my gosh. In cream?
Okay.
Anyway.
So just, I guess I should just explain, since I did read the book, there is a section where Dr. Budro, he did describe his approach. So whenever he goes up to a given scene, because he instructs the readers how to do it for themselves, how they can carry out these experiments.
Yeah, it's under the it's the title. You laugh, they laugh, everybody laughs.
Yeah, and so you do, according to you at least, you arrive on scene, and if you see someone trying to call 911, you do yell at them and forcibly stop them if possible.
Right. Well, I mean, I start with the hey, what are you doing? We're watching Old School over here.
Yeah,
well,
okay.
Probably
then,
the cell signals are messing with you, so you got to shut that down
the
immediately.
Headaches.
Yeah,
the headache. Oh boy, it's it's not fun.
Yeah, okay.
But we're okay.
So with that, because I was thinking like maybe your mindset was you don't want to compromise the study, but for you it's just the pain of it.
Oh, yep.
Okay. That's better, I guess. So I don't know that we can really put our stamp of approval on this because...
Did you ever see Spinal Tap?
211?
Mr.
Come on.
Mr. Show's Better Call Saul brother was in Spinal Tap. And I think that brings everything together.
There it is.
Okay. Well, speaking of, bringing it all together, it seems like this is... Oh, you know what?
Don't forget. Yep,
Yeah.
I knew you were about to forget. We got to get to the chore wheel.
Chore wheel.
Oh boy. If you are just now joining us, I mean, the last few weeks we have had to finally take care of all of these chores that have been piling up and piling up and piling up. And so we created this chore wheel that we're spinning every week just to knock off one duty, one thing we have to do. We have no choice in the matter, but we're just trying to check things off a list at this point. So let's DJ Dylan, can you go ahead and fire up the chore wheel?
Yes.
All right, it says movie reviews. Oh gosh, okay, we do have to do this. All right, this is one that's not too much of a chore, honestly. I'm excited to do this because I've been wanting to get some of this stuff off my chest. All of us here today, I don't even have to ask. I assume that we've all seen the movie that every single person in the world is talking about.
Yeah.
Splanter's Choice.
Splanter's Choice.
And every single person is screaming about how genius this movie is and how the cinematography is so magical and so fluid, and how Bronte Chauncers was the greatest actor in the world and he should win. Well,
sorry. Go on.
And that everything about it is genius. And you know what? Frankly, I have to agree. Splanter's Choice, it's an incredible film. I mean, everything about it mesmerized me. I mean, the part where the mountain actually was a hole and everyone was just looking at it upside down, and then once they realized it caused them to fall, and then Splanter said, huh? That part cracked me up, but then also made me think. I thought about that for days.
Yeah, no, that's a good take. That's a good take, Cameron. And that's well thought out. But I guess if you're looking at movies with the critical eye, which is kind of just how I view everything.
Oh boy, here we go again.
Yeah, so Splanter's Choice. Maybe not the movie for everyone, is what I thought. So Splanter...
Yeah, it's not for pretentious doctors. Is that what you're about to say?
Look, I don't mean to have these opinions. It's just when I watched it, I thought what I thought. So the main character, Splanter... first of all, not this actor's best work.
Then what is? Then tell me what is. What has he done better? What has Bronte Chonkerson's done better?
Transtonia. You remember Transtonia?
Okay. That's fair.
Yeah.
That was from a different time before we had 4D screenings, but sure. Yeah, that's fine. I'll agree that movie definitely...
Transtonia.
I mean, I have to respect it for at least putting, floppy floppers on the map.
Yeah. So anyway, in Splanter's Choice, the issue that I had with... There came a point in the movie, and I don't want to spoil anything, but Splanter did have to make that choice. And
it was tough.
Yeah,
but it was tough.
The fact that a full 10 minutes of the movie... Full 10 minutes was just him reading a book on the subject to make sure he made the right choice. And just, it was multiple camera angles of just switching.
That's called character development. Are you kidding me? How are you going to establish that he's making the choice that's actually informed if you don't spend time establishing that? I mean,
most movies will do a montage, but there was also no music. There was nothing. It was just... Splanter reading book. And I'm sorry, you know what?
Instead of a soundtrack, it was just the sounds of a baby crying, which I thought was genius. How subversive and crazy is that?
Yeah, which no mention of children in the movie besides that sound. Like, there's no reference.
It's implied that they're off-screen Dr. London.
Okay, so sorry, Dr. Budro.
Well, this is Dino Go to Brunch all over again, and you hated Dino Go to Brunch because
Yeah.
you said there wasn't enough brunch, and you said it was too late in the day for brunch.
That's right.
Which is insane. You know that brunch can go to 4 p.m. Lots of restaurants offer it till 4 p.m.
Not in the country that it was set
Oh my
in.
gosh.
And I'll maintain that. Not
All
in
right,
that country.
I can't listen to this. Dr. Budro, can I please hear your thoughts on this film?
Well, the movie. I wish you would have known how much I don't enjoy dramas before you asked me to watch this movie. I mean, sure, there was that moment with Splinter and the pie, and that was great. But Bronte Chauncers is absolutely no Will Ferrell.
Nope.
I mean, the whole movie, I'm waiting for Frank the Tank to show up, and instead, the mountain's a hole, and we're reading for 10 minutes, and for 10 minutes without a laugh, that is, what is that? The laugh to cry ratio.
yeah.
Whew, it wasn't good. But I will say it was beautiful. That cinematography was breathtaking. And, if we go to Joseph Campbell, we take a look at the hero with 1,000 faces. You got it with Splinter. His choice was an epic choice. And major ramifications. The mountains, a hole. That was a twist I didn't expect to see.
And the pie. You tell me you laughed at the pie, right?
I laughed at the pie. We all laugh. I'm
come
a
on.
human who laughs. And
Lenny
sometimes
Bruce who?
Don't-
Check out the
don't-
pie in Splinter's
don't,
Choice.
Don't besmirch the name of America's greatest comedian.
I'm really sorry about that.
That's okay. But I mean, I was happy that I branched out and saw something that wasn't the 3 movies that I've watched pretty much every day for the last 5 years. So that was nice. So thank you, gentlemen, for teaching this old dog a new trick. Okay, all right, there
Wow.
it is.
Yeah. The trick being to watch a movie
Watch
outside
something
of your
different. Yeah.
usual
Watch something
genre.
different. Yeah, my genre of comedy, great comedy films, the Lenny Bruce.
Yeah, the Lenny Bruce stand-up special.
Lenny
Yeah.
Bruce stand-up. Here it is. This is the trinity of comedy to me. The Lenny Bruce stand-up special, Muppets Take Manhattan, old school.
And old school.
Okay.
Wow.
So that's done then. We finished that chore for this week at least.
Yeah, the chore, we can check that off the list. DJ Dylan, if you could fire up the checking that off the list machine real
Yeah.
quick.
Well, it's more of a canon, but yeah.
Yeah, it's more of a canon, and it's a crime to own this thing, right?
Yeah, I do question the legality of at least
We don't have to think
storing
about it. It's
it
whatever.
here.
Yeah.
It might be one of those things where, ownership isn't the problem so much as possession, whatever. Anyway, so I feel like we're, we can kind of wrap it up now, right? We did our chore. We learned about the book, Haha Health.
Yeah, Dr. Budro, is there anything that you want to... besides this wonderful book that we're going to slap the Jock Doc podcast seal of approval on?
It's not really
Was it-
ethical.
Well, we're going to do it anyway. Was there anything that you wanted to promote?
Well, my nephew has a podcast network called Gabber Media, GABBERMEDIA. Does a bunch of podcasts there. One of them, they answer the question of what if we listen to Limp Bizkit today? It's called Roach Coach, Coach with
Whoa.
a K, and I don't know what the hell's going on, but they seem to enjoy it.
Okay.
Wow, so it's like a new metal type of podcast?
Yep, every week they listen to a different new metal album, and they see if it belongs in the new metal canon.
Whoa. Do you know if they've gotten to POD yet?
Yes, they have done. They have done the first POD record. They've Southtown, and
Yeah.
they have done the satellite.
Wow. That sounds amazing. I definitely have to listen to that.
It is very comprehensive.
Okay.
That's
I never
exciting.
believed that much new metal exists.
That sounds sustainable then, at least.
For 200 plus episodes.
Oh, wow. All right. Is there any way for listeners to follow you, or I guess your nephew?
Oh, well, you can always find my nephew on Gabber Media. Well, his name is Matt Noss. He's wonderful, at Matt Noss on Twitter. He's there, MattNaas. What a delight that guy is.
Okay. Yeah, your nephew sounds nice. Okay.
I love him.
And that's great to hear. All right. Well, I guess we'll go
Are you
ahead.
weirded out by my nephew love?
No. And honestly, especially after a brain injury, I think having more family, being supportive is great.
It does look like you're going to cry, but I can't tell if that's part
It's
of the
part of
condition.
it. It's part of it.
You're not just crying, just thinking about your nephew?
I don't know anymore.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you to Dr. Mark Budro here for coming on the podcast, talking about his book with us, Haha Health, which seems like it's filled with a lot of unethical practices that might have been lawful, might be legal wherever they took place, but certainly not ethical, I would say. Thank you to Cameron. Thank you to Digital in the House.
Well, once he got to You're My Boy Blue, the giggles were just flowing.
The giggles were just flowing. You're my boy blue. You're my boy blue. The giggles boy blue. The giggles.
You're My Boy Blue. But you know what wasn't blue? My boy.
My name is Dr. LondonSmith.com, and this has been the Jock Doc Podcast.
See ya.
A wet drop of something falls on your cheek. Irritated, you swipe the drop up with your finger and you throw it back up at the sky. Sorry if this offends any snowflakes, but when the sky literally spits in your face, we've got a real problem here. As you prepare a loogie for return fire, another drop smacks under your forehead. Your jaws clench and stretch as you gather up all the saliva and gunk from the four corners of your mouth. As you prepare to launch this projectile, you ponder for a moment at this act of violence. But no, you did not start this war, and your resolve strengthens. The countdown begins. Then a cutie walks by. You painfully swallow your loaded ammunition to smile and wave before, they make a disgusted ugh sound. Lucky day, Sky. Lucky day. Speaking of flirtations being wrecked by Mother Nature, don't forget to leave a 5-star review of the Jock Doc podcast in which you describe how you were deeply personally insulted by the weather. And consider supporting us by becoming a patron on the Jock Doc podcast Patreon. And while you're at it, go ahead and share the Jock Doc podcast with a friend or foe. You can send them a link to your favorite episode, or just send them our handy website, jockdogpodcast.com. And don't forget to take a peek at our posts on social media. We are at Jock Dog Podcast. Thanks for listening.